the internet, and welcome to Gravel Circuit Time Trial Episode 3. I have not actually killed the series off as it may have seemed, but I just took a extended break from it, and it is now back better than ever, hopefully. This is basically the Canadian Motors X1290 concept with a V16, as my frame rate gets very unhappy. I don't have the V16 myself. It's kind of an additional thing you can pay to unlock on automation, and yeah. This is going to be a bit difficult, isn't it? Oh, dearie me. So, still. 2, 1. Fear not. Transmissions shall confuse me no more, as I eventually get the hang of how to manage my audio so it's not obnoxiously loud through my headphones. Come on. I think I just had the game in general too loud. Now it might even be too quiet. Come on. This doesn't handle too badly. They said the engine might be too heavy and it might not be able to handle the power. Maybe I'm just used to high power rear-wheel drive cars and this is all-wheel drive or something. But if this is 1290 horsepower, then that is certainly no bad thing to be putting it down this well. Oh, come on. It's definitely got a pair of turbos on it. I say a pair. It's not going to have a single turbo on a V16. Okay. What's the damage? It was just like, I'm sure I can cut across there. No, I couldn't cut across there. That was a problem. I believe this is a dual clutch transmission because it has the auto mode as well as the manual mode. And there we go. The wheel may have evaded a terrible, terrible death there. Oh, I mean this, what would you call it, blower? I think it's a supercharger. Even though it's a turbo car, on the bonnet makes it very, very difficult to see. I mean, I shouldn't have an excuse about the sides, but oh, straight ahead, and kind of messed it up again. But I don't think I'm messing it up so badly as I might have thought. You know, you'd think the way things are going, you'd think I would have just flown off the course out of my own recklessness, but that's not the case. It's more the fact that I am blind, and I mean literally blind to what's going on right in front of my very eyes that's stopping me, as opposed to the car being a horrible thing to drive. It's very, very nice to drive, and I'm not kidding when I say that. It's got grip where it needs grip to be got. It's got big tyres, as I've seen, and the brakes are, again, just incredible at getting this thing slowed down, as my hands kind of do an awkward dance along with my arms. No, my arms do a dance. If my hands alone were doing an awkward dance, well, my arms would desperately want them back for a start, and whoa, again. I think I'm going to have to be extremely careful on the third one. I mean, this car is saved. It's not the biggest save of all time, I guess, but it's managed to scrape by without any serious mechanical damage, and for that it's good. It was never going to be quick on this lap anyway because of what happened at the start, so you know, I'm not too bad feeling I went off there. Gently, gently here. Gently over this bump, because that's where that really hurt it before. Again, I'm just being so gentle, because although the potential of this car is here, I just can't really tell at the point it snaps. I guess it's something to do with getting the weight balance a bit goofy, and then it goes, and then it's the end of that. So that's something. The tyres, actually, I haven't mentioned yet, but they don't feel like they lack grip, so they don't feel like they're the semi-slicks. Oh, that did not feel like the way I was supposed to take that corner. Mind that at the same time, there's much worse ways to take it, so yeah. Whoa. Come on. Right, I thought that was completely doomed, but have I lost a wheel? Something's wrong with the cornering. No, I will go. Something's definitely wrong with the cornering. I'm pretty sure I've lost one of my front wheels. No! Okay. Speaking of lost a front wheel, the more accurate term may have been bent it, but I didn't know how it was bent, so I couldn't really counter steer effectively. Yeah, the car is doomed, quite frankly. I'm just unable to deal with it. The visibility, I think, caught it out. If it had perfect visibility, I would be able to overcome the car for all its other problems, and I would be able to get it where I want it to be. But with the visibility problems, it's kind of suffering, let's say. I'm going to get to the end, but unfortunately it's going to be a 138.391 just because, well, just because of that. Come on, back again, and forwards. I'm just going to stick it in auto now. I can't be bothered driving the manual. It's not like I'm going to go any quicker as a result of that. Well, maybe it is, but I mean, not to the point it's going to matter. Yeah. Could be the slowest car on our leaderboard. So I believe this car amazingly isn't the slowest on the leaderboard. If I read the time correctly, it is just above the Gaffel Cruiser that was the slowest. However, does it really matter? I mean, the car has one very, very big problem, and it's a very, very obvious problem right there. It just stops me seeing what I need to see, and that is quite a problem when you do need to race these things. We have the carbon fibre under tray and everything. It is a solid car. You'll see pushrod rear suspension, what it looks like double wishbone up front. Yeah, we have a lot of power. It's not the 1290 then. I'm guessing that goes to the engine size as opposed to the power. Power is only relatively low, actually. 560. I've got similar amounts from 4 cylinders, not to brag, from 2 litre-ish 4 cylinders. But nonetheless, if we go with the torque is quite high, so in being similar to the power. Yeah, I think when the turbo starts really boosting it, that's when it gets a bit slidey, but as I was saying, the main problem is just that. Anyway, with that being said and done, I'll have to move on to the next vehicle now. Next up, we have a 1970s Pigeon, which is not an automation car, I know, but I just had to use it. Let's see what the interior's like. Pretty much the same as the Pigeon that we all know and love. And since it's an interior cam, I do intend to use it, so yeah, I pressed the right button for a change. Right, now I can change gear effectively. Go! Mighty free-wheeled trike thing. This doesn't feel half slow, actually. I say that, honestly, I say that coming from a 600 horsepower thing. It could just be because I can see exactly where I'm going. And that I was unable to use any of its potential speed because I couldn't. Whoa, I tried to go a bit on the understeery side there and it didn't quite work in my favour. Oh, no, I'm getting chucked up and that's not nice. Although we have made it through that corner. Now, first gear, just because I'm going to have to slow down here. There's not really another way of seeing it. Oh, first again for the areas where it's likely to be slow. Oh, we've gone and kind of spun it. Come on, it righted itself. Credit where credit's due. I mean, the thing is, the Pigeons are tough as well, so it's not going to be the easiest job to destroy one of these. I remember actually a long time ago, over 2 years ago I would say, I drove one off a building and it survived. It wasn't this model of Pigeon, but it was a Pigeon. So yeah, a pretty intriguing fact for you there. I mean, nothing snapped or anything. Oh, owie. Yeah, they might be rugged themselves, but I'm sure they're not comfortable. Especially since they won't have much of a front suspension system. Into second gear. Try and keep a decent pace up. Oh. And that is not how you're supposed to take that corner, but I kind of made it round anyway. Third lap I think is going to have to be pretty amazing, because this is just proven to be slow. I mean, it just tips. What more can I say? If I can avoid the tippiness of it, then I can perhaps be on to a semi-reasonable time. But even so, it's a lot to ask from a pigeon. I don't think I need to use first gear as such. First gear doesn't seem to have much use. Come on. Oh, just delicately, delicately. Otherwise, I will completely lose control. And yeah, you see that it was struggling to keep itself under control over those bumps. That's the problem with having one less wheel, as well as just having a short wheelbase and being a small, tall vehicle. It doesn't bode well when it comes to actually making the car fast. Not that these were ever intended to go fast. That's another factor we have to bear in mind. I think they only have rear brakes too. I only now remember that. So careful around here. Yeah, delicate, delicate. Oh, good, good, good. Excellent. Oh, slow into here. I think I'm getting it now. I have to be so careful until I get to the end of a corner, then I can accelerate. Again, just flooring it now, even though I weren't in first gear. Maybe that weren't the best thing to do, I don't know. But I think I've got just the right amount of cornering angle just through my head now, so I'm not going to mess it up as bad. You'll see there, it was bouncing, but I think I just about had its bouncing kept under control. Yeah, it's like a little mouse, you know, bounding, and it does look like a mouse as well, which is something. And to be fair, this is a car that I haven't crashed yet, remember? So that is unique. Well, I did kind of tip it over, but not completely. Yeah, I think, respective of what this is, a 1:17 is actually a very good time for it. So I clicked restart again instead of free roam. My incompetence knows no bounds. But anyway, I think I should be able to zoom in now. You'll see via lights, they really are weird. And it does look like a very strange mouse. Something goes on in the bed there that makes it very crumpled. But overall, I do like this. It's not done the most impressive time in the world, but it's done what I would expect it to do, you know? It's not exceeded expectations even, it's just done what I would expect it to. It's come just below the Concorde LS and Cedric Mark 1, which is actually quite impressive, remember. Cedric was still a sports car, even if it was kind of an old entry-level sports car. And it's come above Mr. Brobley. Both variants I've got on the leaderboard, and the uncontrollable 8-speed Demon. So hey, this is faster than a Dodge Hellcat, apparently, in my twisted world. Anyway, on to the next vehicle. So, here we have the monstrosity special delivery. I think I've remembered that correctly. It is a all-wheel drive wide body van. It is apparently a turbo as well, according to the back. Let's try the indicators. Yeah, we are not going to be missing our parcels with this. It's also apparently a 9.2 litre engine. Is that a V12? I think I do see 12 cylinders, or I see 6, but there's another side to it. So, yes. It's similar to my van, only completely ridiculous. So let's get going. And off we go. Second gear. First gear. Oh dear. it does make some interesting turbo sounds, and the V12 as well does make some interesting sounds. Such a big engine though. Come on. I remember when I put that V10 in, a front wheel drive crossover, that was quite ridiculous. About as ridiculous as I could get, and I almost overdid it there, but I didn't. Considering how low this is, I mean, it doesn't feel too bad over the bumps, which is remarkable. I mean, it really is. Oh, bump. You see, yeah, it did bump itself around a bit, but it didn't go mad. I like that. Slow into here and then out. Yes. We managed to pull that greatly. I'm not going to push full on here because I know that it's the first lap and I was launching a van and everything. So, yeah. If anything, the point I'm going to go full on is the third lap there. Oh, I guess it will have to be now. I've messed up this corner on the second lap as well. I say as well. Come on. Right. I'm going to have to help it, I think. Also, I do like how the colour scheme is inspired by the AE86 from Initial D. I find that to be quite a nice touch. Like, what you're delivering has to be tofu. Sounds like a Formula 1 car, kind of. That's how these high-performance V12s do tend to sound. But it's a bigger engine, so it doesn't quite sound like one, if you see what I mean. Right, so back into manual mode. Yeah. I mean, I've messed up this lap. It's clear to see. So I just have to make sure I get the third lap right. But even the first lap, the 1.7 is pretty good. Right, so basically, I think I have to acknowledge it's going to understeer. So I don't treat it entirely like a front wheel drive though. I just have to acknowledge it's a very, very powerful all-wheel drive that's going to understeer when you get to a corner. Or it's going to oversteer a bit, it may be if I'm really, really pushing it. So, yeah, overall though, it's a very nice, predictable car. Van, I can't complain. The Pigeon was tippy, let's say. Compared to the Pigeon, this feels very planted. It doesn't feel like a van. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I just wasn't really thinking. Nonetheless, it's round here. Ooh. Yeah, round here, yes. I messed it up, I'm sorry. The way I flew, though, and managed to recover that is really testament to how well sorted this is. It's a supercar disguised as a van, maybe even a hypercar. But it's disguised as a van, and it clearly just isn't your regular van. That must be said. Although, maybe you can still use it as one. I'm guessing there's not much you're going to transport. Because, well, it's this low to the ground, but it is still a van. I spent most of my time in first gear, so that's a thing. And round here. Oh, bump, bump. Right, now I know. The calling of speed is somewhere around here, but not quite yet, not quite. Now! Speed! And that's how we do it. Okay, what was the best lap? 1 minute 6.368. Wow. That is the second fastest vehicle. I'll just check in there. It's very slightly below the tuna hatch. But that is incredible performance. I mean, properly incredible. It's just so predictable. I think that was done at the end, let's be honest. It's just so predictable, though. And I mean, other than the occasion where I beat it up or I pushed it too hard, nothing went wrong on those ones. Obviously, you're not going to be able to land jumps like a rally car, but it's not a rally car. We also have the mirrors on this side, but not on this side, which makes sense, I guess. Serious weight savings. Anyway, Your new laptop, just don't try and make a warranty claim for it. It's nothing personal, but it may not have arrived in one piece. Still, I think we can move on to the next vehicle. I don't see how it can possibly top this though. So, currently our leaderboard, or top 3 at least, is a small hatchback, a van, and a hypercar. But can this 4.8 litre V8 powered NSA surveillance van change the order a little? I wonder. I'm really getting bad at this. I didn't change the view nor the gearbox, and no, this is just a standard automatic, fair enough. Whoa, it doesn't feel half bad for speed, though. Even coming from what I've just come from, I was expecting it to be a much weaker V8, making maybe 300 horsepower tops. It does say 2003 where I got it on the respiratory, so I guess that's when it came from. Slow it down into this corner, duck and weave, so to speak. Oh, we're going wide. And then back straight in my wheel as quick as I can. It feels light. I mean, it probably isn't, but it feels relatively light. Probably because there's no rear seats. Anyway, round we go. It does look more like a Chrysler Voyager though, so I'm taking 2 vans round, but rest assured they are different bodies. Oh, crunch. I hope that didn't damage anything important. It doesn't feel like it did. It does feel a lot softer though, and you can see notably more suspension travel when you just look at it. Come on. I imagine this is naturally aspirated as well, which should always help with predictability. Oh, come on! I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to stabilize it somewhat. Right, can we surgically remove it from the tree without changing the condition of it? Because it sounds ridiculous and it's kind of cheating, but hey, if it works, it works. Oh, yes. Now that's what it is. It's technically going to be undrivable if you do that in real life, but this is a video game, so we can get away with it. Let's pack it up and continue on our next 2 laps. This lap is going to be nothing, but still we can get a good 3rd lap. The same as I think I did with another vehicle. What was it? The Pigeon. I know for a fact that the 3rd lap was just good because by the 3rd lap I was kind of getting what it was down and I was learning how to take corners with it. This is not going to be the same as that Pigeon though. This is just so much more predictable. I did floor it though, and I now learned that's a mistake. It shouldn't even be driving right now. The engine should be out the vehicle, but somehow it is driving. Come on. The first lap was a 1:13, and I'm sure we can beat that, but I'm not looking where we're going. As I was saying, this lap is pretty much gone, so I'm not worried about it. That was a tiny knock. It won't have done any actual damage, so to speak. I was going to say, why am I in automatic mode? There is only an automatic mode. We know what you've been doing with a manual, because we're the NSA. No, it wasn't an FBI van, was it? It was the NSA van. Okay, just clearing that up. Flooring it down here, and braking into here, because we don't want to go too fast. And along we go. It does feel like it's veering to the left, but it's nothing to make me properly wary that the vehicle is worn out, so to speak. It does still have some life in it. It does still have some race in it, even if it isn't a race vehicle. Come on. Around. A bit delicate there, just to make sure it's done and dusted. And again. Right. Flip of a wheel and It does feel like I'm doing well. I mean, I could just be overestimating my own abilities, as I sometimes do. But it feels like I've got a grasp of this. Ooh. Thank you, suspension, for dealing with the bumps for me. They were some pretty nasty bumps, but you did deal with them. And for that, I am very proud of you. Come on. And along we go. Right, now flooring it up here again, as I probably shouldn't, but anyway. It is a 1 minute 10. It's a pretty respectable time. Not the very fastest in the world, but it's able to set an upper middle part of the table time. Ooh, so it does make about 400 horsepower from this engine. That is not bad, actually. It's more than I thought it might initially, and probably part of the reason it's still able to set a good time. Although ultimately, it's not as good as that last van we had. It has beaten a Civic Type R. It's beaten the Audis Quattro. Or it's around about that point. Not sure it's beaten it. And the Sport Van 3.2 that I built. So hey, we've got a kind of van rivalry going on here. V8 American van versus European 4-cylinder van. Personally, the fact that I do a similar time with half a power, I think makes me worth respect. But then this is going to be a more comfort-orientated suspension in its credit. So, yeah, picking a winner is difficult. Anyway, on to the next vehicle. So, here we have a change of pace. This is the Geo Tracker, as it is. And it has 80 horsepower from a 1.6 litre engine of a, yep, they're leaf springs. Anyway, as I was saying, it's a basic 90s car, so it would be interesting to see how it does. Also, I should have taken a note that this is a manual and used my clutch properly. Come on. So good to have a proper manual, though, after all of these kind of semi-automatics and full automatics where I have to use the paddles on my wheel. It's good to just use a good old hand shifter, would you call it? Oh, I kind of overjudged the corner there and I got the steering wheel angle wrong, but it's fine, we're out of it. Oh, first lap never seems to be the quickest, so yeah, as long as I don't do something stupid here, I should be fine. I mean, this is also an off-roader car, so it's likely to be able to put up with a bit harsher terrain. Even if this particular one isn't all-wheel drive, the suspension travel in itself just shouldn't be that of a low sports car, so we should have a bit more going for us in that respect. I won't lie, it doesn't handle half bad. Come on. I mean, you're not going to confuse this with a sports car anytime soon, but it really just doesn't handle bad. Come on. Accelerate and third gear. Third gear around here. See if we can hold it. No, it didn't go into third gear, did it? It went into something too high, but we got very well onto the second lap. I'm going to push now. I'm going to push to get a second best lap if I can. And then maybe if I get this lap done well, I'll push on to the third lap. It looks like my exhaust fell off. Quite disconcerting, though. I guess they weren't the best built cars in the world. And it kind of slid under brakes there in a disconcerting way, but I was able to control it. So, no problems there. Accelerate out of that corner. I just love how this kind of... it destroys the bumps at the sides of a track. They don't stand a chance. It's soft enough, yet also firm enough, so to speak, that they just don't get in the way at all. This is probably one of the nicest cars I've had to deal with. And it's just the tight corners as well. Because of a short wheelbase, it gets round them very nicely. Come on. Second gear, third gear. A minute 8, this is not bad. I mean, as I was saying, 80 horsepower is not a lot, but the way this is able to use its power is very, very impressive. Even if it is from a basic car company that makes basic cars. You might want that Camry, but you can only afford the Geo Tracker. Come on, this way, this way. It did go around that corner eventually. First gear. And those bumps are not exactly where I want to be. Come on, round here. I'm just pushing. I'm trying to push as well when I can't actually push. Come on. It's so nice though. As I was saying, the bumps just don't phase it that much. Even with the leafs, it's just, it uses its rear leaf springs to very good effect, I guess, because they never feel like they're hurting it, and that was the first time I've damaged the clutch. Come on, flooring it now, flooring it. 1 minute 7. Incredibly respectable time there. For what it is. So, this is now the 5th fastest vehicle on our leaderboard, which is a very, very impressive feat. Now, you may ask, why would I say that? Why on earth would I say 5th is an impressive feat? I mean, the car we just had, the monstrosity special delivery, just beat it by just under a second, actually. However, this car has 80 horsepower from a tiny little engine, remember? And it has non-independent suspension all around. None of this suspension is independent. So we've got a coil on the front and we've got leaves on the rear. It is the only car in the top 5 to get away with leaf springs on the back. How is that for perspective? It is the only car in the top 5 to have under 100 horsepower. It just gets round the corners so incredibly well, and the bumps don't phase it in the slightest. This car is far better than I expected it to be. So if we just shift down into neutral, I can hopefully show you the engine curve. That's what I guess that helps. The power curve is nice, but just look at that, 78 horsepower even. It's not showing 80 on this even. It is simple, but it works to great effect. It even beat that Jetta Highline, and that had 210 horsepower. Anyway, it's time to go on to our final vehicle. How on earth am I gonna top this in a crazy van? So, our final vehicle is basically on the far other end of the market. It is the GXM Falcon 2500. It's got a 2500 horsepower engine, 12 litres, and it looks like it's got a double wishbone on the rear instead of pushrod, which is interesting. Those massive turbos as well. Anyway, let's see what I can make of this thing. That is not the view I were going for. Is that the bonnet view? I guess it must be. If that's the bonnet view. Okay, if that's the bonnet view, I can hopefully just reset this view and use it from behind. Not what I wanted to do, but someone has made a manual transmission supercar. No. Someone has made a manual transmission supercar that I seem unable to launch properly. I did try before and I failed badly. Okay, I think I've worked out the secret of how to use this transmission. It is kind of a manual that I can only use with the paddles, which is weird. It's got no auto mode, so it's not a dual clutch. It's just a manual that I can only use with the paddles. I think it's a sequential, that's it. So a little stranger choice of a transmission, but if it works, I guess it works. And around here we go. Oh, come on, slow it down. It is easy to drive. I mean, the description didn't lie about that. And I've still messed it up. Come on. I've still messed it up despite being easy to drive. I mean, how on earth that might be possible, I don't know. It's very luxurious as well, so they say, which must mean it's very heavy. Come on. It looks like it's got massive fender flares on the back just to fit wide tyres. Oh, that did jump on the way. Didn't look good. Yeah. It has its problems dealing with bumps. It is still low, even if it has got a lot of tyre sidewall to help deal with the bumps. And it knocked a front tyre there. That can't have been good for it. Right. Oh, that was painful. So painful. Why on earth? Why on earth must the car suffer so much pain? The eternal suffering you must suffer. Right, my wheel is not straight anymore, just so you know. Come on. Right. This way, this is the way we go. Full lock on the left-hand corner there. I don't seem to need to steer to the right as much as I do to the left, which is perfectly normal for a car with a damaged steering system. Come on. Oh, bump. Yeah, we've got to slow this down, hopefully. It's got so much power, it feels like I'm going slow, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm going quick, and I just don't realise it. Oh, something went a bit wrong there with my cornering. Managed to just about recuperate it. Come on. I couldn't do it. I mean, I tried to steer it back on track, and it just refused to go. I mean, it's not the same level of pace, no. That's kind of its problem. It could have been so quick if only I didn't mess the car up. 0.26. I'm not going to set a quicker lap this time round, though. The other lap was pretty okay, at least, thankfully. So, yeah, even though I may have lost a few tenths of seconds in the weird steering, I did mostly manage to contradict its beliefs and somehow managed to get my voice heard over it all. Come on. Again, hit the lock of my wheel. Just 1 minute 10. It's okay. I mean, it's a reasonably respectable time, but I expected more because this car has so much power. Maybe it was my fault for expecting that from it, but I thought I would just be able to use it like that. Come on. I'm going to just thrash it over the line and see what I can do for speed-wise. I did 88. I guess that means we can time travel. But still, I'm at 10.285. It does put us in a good league, but it is below. It is still above my sport van, and just below the Farini 854. So yeah, I guess it can hold with some supercars. Ultimately, though, it has been beaten by the Geo Tracker, and for some people, it won't be good enough that their supercar is beaten by a kind of abused 90s crossover. So to speak. And the Oxizo Sport, yeah, that thing was genuinely brilliant, though. So it's come a little below that, but that's not too bad. I'll take that, I guess. You know, the time isn't entirely disappointing. So for today's episode, I'm going to leave it here, and I will say goodbye until another day.